Hey everyone, welcome back to Weird Weekly News with the Realm. I'm Gina.
This is Rich.
For those of you that are just now catching our podcast for the first time, every week we give you weird news headlines from all around the world and beyond.
And where have you been? Why aren't you listening?
Yeah, exactly. Where have you been? Go back, listen to the other ones. Every Wednesday, we're going to put these out. We're going to each bring a couple stories to the table and have a small discussion on it. They could be headlines from years ago, recent. We're just bringing you weird headlines that have kind of made its way to the public eye. So, and who we decide goes first is going to be the loser of rock, paper, scissors. Historically, it's always Rich losing. I mean, you've won a couple times, I guess we could say.
Very little. Very little.
You ready to go?
Yep, sure. Let's do it.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, both scissors. Okay. Right. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, you won. I got a rock, Rich, had paper. Right. Finally. I talked too much shit there in the beginning. That's my problem.
Miracles do happen.
Miracles. Okay, so I have a couple stories here. One I just saw right before we logged on, and I'm like, damn it, if we have time, I'm going to sneak that one in. Okay, so, but for this one, I'm going to let you choose. Do you want to hear about Egypt or Texas?
Let's go Texas.
Texas. Okay. You got it. All right. So the headline is Amarillo Zoo captures image of a mysterious animal. What is it? Have you heard about this?
Nope, not that one.
Okay. In Amarillo, Texas, there was a zoo that, let me back up. So the Today Show did a headline. I had a headline on June 10th. You know, the Today Show does like their live thing every morning with their group of people. I think the main anchors are like Hoda Kotb? Hoda Kotb. No. Why can't I say Kotb? Anyway, Hoda is the host. I would say her of the show, as well as Savannah Guthrie. And so they're hosts for Today Show, and they do, like I said, these live shows every day. And on this particular live show, I was on June 10th. They reported about this thing that happened in Amarillo, Texas. So they published it to their website later that day and on YouTube. So I have links to all of those that I'm going to put in the comments of this episode. So they reported a strange figure captured on their night security footage on May 21st of this year at 1:25 a.m. So it was right outside the Amarillo Zoo in Amarillo, Texas. So it was actually the city of Amarillo that posted a tweet about this happening. And so the Today Show found it, picked it up, and reported on it. And it was a copy of the image. And actually, so for those of you watching on YouTube, I'm actually going to bring this image up. Let me do that really quickly. Okay, so for those of you watching on YouTube, I'm going to show you this on the Today Show. So essentially, they post this. Can you see that?
I've seen that picture.
Okay, so they posted this picture, and the Amarillo Zoo said in their tweet, or the city of Amarillo said, the Amarillo Zoo captured a strange image outside of the zoo in dark, early morning hours of May 21st around 1:25 a.m. Is it a person with a strange hat who likes to walk at night? A chupacabra? Do you have any ideas of what this UAO could be? They called it an unidentified Amarillo object. So that's what they named it. So basically, and yet you saw that picture. So basically what ended up happening, they put that tweet out, and at the time that these newscasters on the Today Show are talking about it, when they got to the part about the Chupacabra, they were likening it to Bigfoot. And then Hoda, the one host, asked Savannah Guthrie, like, hey, do you believe in Bigfoot? And she's kind of like, nah, I really don't believe in it. And then Savannah kind of turned to the rest of the group and was like, hey, do you guys, do you believe in Bigfoot? And do you remember Carson Daly from like MTV and stuff? Yep. So Carson Daly's on the Today Show, apparently. I did not know that. I don't watch daily news of any sorts. So he was in this panel, and he's like, he kind of stopped for a second, and like it almost looked like he was pausing a little bit, like shit, what I'm about to say could like haunt my career or something. It looked like he was having that pause. But he actually said, sure. I mean, like, why not? But then he went on to joke about, how he thought it also looked like a drunk Blake Shelton walking around outside the zoo. So I don't know if there was any credence to him answering yes. But I thought that answer was super important because he looked like he was thinking about it before he said it. So that's how I think like he might really believe in this stuff, which is fine because I want to believe in everything. But
I agree.
I like to believe in magic. Anyway, so now it looks like it was just like a security photo, like a still photo from the video footage. But that hasn't been confirmed because as I was trying to do other research into this article, I was not able to find like a video, and even some of the comments in underneath the tweet on Twitter had asked the same thing, like, is there any video? So if anybody out there knows any information on this, has any other information, please leave your comments on our Facebook page under the link for this episode. So to further go into it, the tweet from the city was asking people to help in identifying the figure. And of course, the internet responded in only a way the internet knows how. Some people said it was a coyote on its hind legs or a coyote jumping. Another said it was Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy. Or do you remember? I don't know if you've watched anything with regards to the January 6th insurrection at Capitol Hill, the guy with like the big on his head. So some people were joking like that it was the guy with the big horns on his head, that he like somehow broke out of jail. Which I don't even know if he's currently in jail. That's how bad I am at those kinds of updates. But then there was also saying that it was a skinwalker. Some thought it was a goat man. That happens to be a rumor around that town. Not sure the validity of that. And then some said it was like a demogorgon, like from Stranger Things.
Definitely not a demogorgon.
And then some said it was dog soldiers from Tank Girl. And others just thought it was just a publicity stunt to kind of revive the interest in the Amarillo Zoo. So the comments were of no help, but they were entertaining nonetheless. So that's my first news story. It looked pretty wicked, though. I don't know. What do you think of that photo?
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think of it. I guess I'm more on the lines of probably publicity stunt.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just, like you said, if there was video, I'd like to see a video clip of it because you don't know what it was doing. Did it just walk by? Then you could pretty much tell, okay, that's a person on four legs and stood up. Then you could say, okay, it was, and I guess that it's kind of like
it's that before and after. That's why photos are really hard. And I think that's why when we go on investigations, we take so many photos like right in a row so that we can see it stamped before and after. Like the one of me at Edinburgh Manor when Kez and I were there, and was like took multiple pictures in a row, and in one of the pictures my face is completely like distorted. So we'll actually be doing an episode on Edinburgh Manor so we can fill everybody in on that. But anyway, what do you think of the story? Comments, concerns, questions?
The only comment I have is, like I said, I think it was probably more of a publicity stunt without any more information other than the photo that they provided. I don't know. I mean, I could see where probably half of the so-called things that it could be that people are saying it's this or that. I could see probably half of them you could make out into that what that object was. Some of them obviously not, but without
interesting story nonetheless. And I thought it was interesting that a major news source picked it up and reported on it. So
I like those.
So they're taking our jobs away from us, though.
I like those. I like those stories and the ones where people share their trail cam videos or pictures.
Yeah, those are really cool.
Sometimes you catch some weird stuff on there, but
those are what we need more of. All right, what do you got for me?
First one that I have comes from Italy.
Ooh.
Yeah, Italy. Mount Vesuvius. The headline reads, American tourist miraculously survives fall into Mount Vesuvius.
Holy crap.
So yes, we are back to the old dropping my phone into something and then trying to get it
Oh yes, we've had news about that. Only this time they fell into.
One time it's a toilet, another time it's a volcano.
Yeah,
I mean,
hey, why not?
So the story reads: 23-year-old tourist from Maryland survives fall into Mount Vesuvius in Italy on Saturday. The incident occurred when Philip Carroll and two of his relatives wandered off a trail for a chance to take better photos.
Okay, that's your first mistake right there.
Yes.
Trails are marked for a reason.
And what they do is they sell tickets for these, hiking trails or hiking for sightseeing. Right. They actually have guided tours for that. And there's areas that are roped off and you stay with your group, just like, any tour that we've all been on. But I'm guilty of always wanting to go my own way too. Sometimes to try to get that better picture or to check out why can't we go over there? There's got to be some reason why we can't go there. Maybe it
could be like ecological where they're protecting certain plants or species or wildlife. Correct. I mean, it could be that you're going to fall into a fucking volcano. Like it could be anything.
Yeah. I mean, around here, around home, doing something like that, I probably would take that chance. I guess if I'm on vacation in Italy on an active volcano, I probably would not want to wander off too far off the path for some reason.
Probably not.
But however, Mr. Carroll decided that he was going to wander off to take a better picture. So they were at the base of the volcano, a 4,000-foot volcano, and they were not supposed to go someplace, but they forged ahead anyway, despite the warnings.
Oh.
They took another trail that was close to tourists, as I said, even though there was a small gate and signs that said, "Do not enter, no access." Still decided they were going to go over the gate and let's go this way. What could possibly go wrong? That's my favorite saying lately. What could possibly go wrong with these? So they didn't listen. They didn't follow the guidelines. They neglected to follow the rules and pay the ticket because they didn't pay for tickets because it says also, like I said, it's pay for tour type thing.
Right.
They did not do that. They came up a back path to sneak into the area in the first place. And then when they got to the guided area, they decided to go over the gate where they weren't supposed to go. So, gosh. I mean, there's just so many things wrong with this story from the beginning. Anyway, when they got to the top, he decided he was going to take a selfie, like anybody's going to, oh, cool. I'm going to post this on Facebook. Right. And he dropped his phone into the crater.
Oh my God.
So now he has his iPhone 45 or whatever they're up to now. I don't even know what number they're on.
Don't hate on iPhones.
As you can tell, I don't have one. So
and as you can tell, you don't like them. iPhone 45 or whatever.
if my work would give me one, I didn't have to pay for it, I would love it just fine. Unfortunately, I don't have to pay for my phone. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I guess so.
And it's not a, flip phone. At least it's a smartphone. So it is what it is. He tried to recover it, but slipped a few meters into the crater. So kind of like our friend back in the, at the park that decided to drop her phone into the toilet and tried to reach in for it a little ways.
Yeah. I mean, for those of you listening, if you go some episodes back, we have a news story about somebody that fell into whatever those called? Pit toilet.
Yeah. Pit toilet. Yeah. Kind of like a porta potty permanent fixture porta john thing. Anyway, he fell in a little ways. He managed to stop his fall, but at that point he was stuck because had he fallen any further, he would have plunged 300 meters into the crater.
Oh my! I just was looking up. It says that Vesuvius is still recorded as an active volcano. Yes,
correct. The last eruption occurred in 1944. Obviously, everybody knows the famous 79 AD eruption, city of Pompeii. Everybody knows about that. But in 1944 was the last active activity, I guess you would say, for the volcano. But it is still a active volcano, but they don't expect anything anytime soon. They don't expect it to, it's not like on the verge of an eruption anytime soon. But nonetheless, I mean, that's got to be, you would think, one of the most dangerous places to be in the first place, much less to be careless. And
I just actually watched, there was like some show that I watched where these people were on a cruise and they went go hiking on like an active volcano. Did you hear about this?
I did not hear about that one.
And so
I'm not shocked.
They were out and like it actually erupted while they were there. And
maybe I did. Yeah, maybe I did hear that.
It was like at a high level of warning, and they went out there, and there was quite a few people that ended up dying, and there were some survivors that were talking about this after the fact. I think I saw it on Netflix. I'll take a look in that. But either way, I just feel like, hiking around volcanoes are not,
when I'm on vacation and I'm on foreign soil or I'm on a cruise, I'm trying to be on my best behavior.
Right.
Trying not to draw attention to myself.
Right.
Because
for a lot of reasons, like,
I mean,
I don't want to get hurt. And I also don't want to, I could just imagine getting in trouble with some kind of foreign government. I mean, just even being myself is illegal in a lot of countries. So.
Right. Now this individual here, local guides actually had to repel in and get him out of there, pull him to safety. So he was lucky. He didn't suffer any major injuries, nothing like that. Cuts, bumps, bruises, whatever on his arms and back, Yeah. And however, the legal ramifications are going to be probably worse than anything, because they're obviously going to face charges for trespassing on public property or public land, it says. So,
right.
I mean,
and what about abusive services? I mean, obviously that costs money to.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
I mean, just and stuff.
Yeah. I'm guessing they're not going to be invited back to, Mount Vesuvius anytime.
I wonder if they're banned from Italy now. Can you get banned from a country? Yeah, you can get banned from a country, can't you?
Sure can.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, and unfortunately, I mean, people, when you're listening, this is what happens when you do something wrong. You end up on the internet. It's not like back in the day. I mean, when you did something, people probably didn't hear about it, because now it happens and people know 5 minutes later because everybody's posting it and telling.
Yeah, everybody's going to know about it. That's true.
I think if we were trying to do weird news stories 20 years ago, we'd probably have a hard time trying to come up with a bunch of them, because we wouldn't know what. Now they're a dime a dozen, because people are doing stupid shit all the time.
We'd be considered hard-hitting reporters back in the day if we were able to pull this off 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
I like that one.
I thought that was a good one. Italy, something different. Volcano, dangerous.
I love it.
I've never had the opportunity to visit any type of volcanoes or anything like that. I do have aspirations to go to Hawaii one day. So
yeah, I know. I want to go to Hawaii. We did go. So in, what is the name of that town in California?
Which one?
So we were in Oceanside. So it's just south of Oceanside. I can't remember the name of this little town, but it's not an active volcano anymore, but there are hiking trails on that. So you can go there, and it used to be an active volcano. And then did you guys go up by the Hollywood sign? Yeah, we did hike to the Hollywood sign.
How was that? Pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. There's several routes to go. And Kez had written a blog about it on our Traveling Proud website back in the day when Kez had that up and running. And because there's lots of ways to get there. And the people that live, I know we're getting off on a tangent, but this is kind of cool. The people that live in that neighborhood actually do everything possible to keep the tourists from coming there. So they hang up all these signs, and they install these signs that are actually not even legal signs. They just buy these signs that says you'll get towed or no trespass. It's things that aren't, it's because it's public property, and they're trying to keep people off public property, but they make it look really official. You're going to get towed or ticketed or whatever.
Right.
So we parked.
So you ignored the signs. Parked where you were once. So you ignored the signs.
We parked where we wanted to, but driving up there was really scary because the roads are super narrow.
Right.
And so when there's a car, and it's a cliff, these houses are built on cliffs up in this neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Mulholland Drive or something like
Mulholland
that.
Drive, yeah.
Because there's Mulholland Avenue and Mulholland Drive. So it's one of the two. But anyway, we're driving up in that neighborhood, and these houses, like I said, are built on the side of these cliffs. And then so the roads are really narrow. So if somebody's trying to come down the road and there's people parked on the side of the road, you're kind of screwed, So we did find a place to park, and then we walked from there, and we walked to there's this area. So here's another thing. They built this almost fortress door looking thing that looks and it has this gated door, this almost barred door that looks like it has a special lock on the outside of it to make it look like you can't enter, that it's private property. But again, that's just a ruse. You literally just open the door and walk through. And then it's this walkway, travel way up to So we didn't hike like, rough it. Some of the roads were paved, some of them were rocky, and it's along the same roadway that like the police and so forth can use to access to get up to the top, because they do have it guarded 24 hours a day. And so there's like active work going on back in that area. You can hike it from the observatory as well, which is a lot longer of a hike. And you're like, at the top of the mountain, kind of walking through, and you can see Los Angeles below. So it was really cool.
That's pretty cool, huh?
But yeah, we did go. You can't go where the letters are anymore. Like you can't physically get next to them anymore because they have this gate like all the way around the Hollywood sign. So
it's supposed to be like haunted up there.
I know. That's what we heard. Somebody like supposedly committed suicide up there, but
yeah,
you like walk up there above it, and there's like a flat area, like a landing kind of thing, and you can stand up there, you can see the whole valley, and you're behind the Hollywood sign. So it was really cool. We took Abigail. That's and cool. So it was cousin Abby and I, and we had a really good time. So sweet.
I've seen it from down on
below
Hollywood Boulevard area, down there.
Yeah. And it wasn't a bad hike. So
I've got pictures of it, but yeah,
you should definitely go there because it was kind of a cool thing to do. So
I want to go back to Long Beach.
Long Beach.
I want to go back to Long Beach. I like that. That was pretty cool down there.
Yeah, and we stayed at the Queen Mary. We stayed on the Queen Mary out there too. That was
a ghost tour.
Yeah, no, we like tried to do our own investigation. That's a whole nother show we'll talk about because we failed miserably at it.
Oh, damn. We need to do that one. Like,
embarrassed to say what we did.
I love that. I love listening to your guys' stories of the stuff you've done because that's pretty cool.
We'll have to definitely talk about our time out west because that was a lot of fun. Okay, so from Italy, we're going to go to Egypt now. You ready?
Oh, now we're going to Egypt. All right.
Going to Egypt. Okay. So this was the headline. And this was from May 31st in the Washington Post, and it's Egypt unearths a trove of artifacts, 250 mummies in ancient necropolis. Okay. So the story that was published, like I said, on May 31st by Washington Post said that Egypt announced the day prior that on that Monday, so it'd be like Memorial Day for us, that it found a trove of ancient artifacts that included 250 sarcophagi and statues and other things. And inside these sarcophagus was well-preserved mummies. Oh yeah, they opened it. Or I don't know, maybe they just scanned it. I don't know if they opened it.
Didn't anybody watch the movie The Mummy? You don't open those things.
I'm just saying, like, do we not have enough problems in the past few years that we're going to find 250 well-preserved sarcophagi and we're just going to just be like, oh, cool, let's open them up and see what we got.
Bring the crowbar over here. Let's.
Jeez Louise, people. Anyway, so it was found there was excavations going on in the necropolis of Saqqara. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Right, I think that's correct. I've heard that.
And necropolis is actually just another term for a graveyard, and it was outside of Cairo. The Washington Post spoke with a Mustafa Waziri, who is the Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiques. That is a mouthful of a title, but I mean, he sounds really important. And he was also in charge of this particular excavation. So he said, quote, in one of the wooden sarcophagi we found, oh yeah, they had to have opened it. In one of the wooden sarcophagi we found for the first time a complete sealed papyrus. So the papyrus is a plant whose stem was used by ancient Egyptians for like a bunch of different things. There's like sails, cloths, mats, cords, and paper, most notably. Yeah. So later these practices were adopted like by Greeks and Romans as well, but the Egyptians coined this one. So the sealed, the importance of it being sealed. Well, first, let me say the sealed document was sent to the museum for protection and further study. But when one of these things are sealed, it can mean a few things. One, it can mean that it's like a contract that was kind of written up between two people. And when I say written up, hieroglyphs were used during that time, and they would seal it so that nobody could change their mind on the, so if somebody went back on the disagreement, they could open it and say, no, look, this is what we agreed on. Or if it was open, that means that somebody could have opened and altered whatever the agreement is. Another known thing about them being sealed was also that It was an important document that had hieroglyphs telling of like an important story or giving clues to like a location of an important treasure even. So Waziri believes that, quote, it was similar to those found 100 years ago that discuss the Book of the Gates and the Book of the Dead. Both are ancient Egyptian funerary texts. So they're thinking they might have found this like ancient Egyptian funerary like text about, I mean, come on, Book of the Dead or Book of the Gates and Book of the Dead. And then he thinks it's something similar to that. Holy Moses. People are worried about CERN and we're digging up this shit. So they also found 150 bronze statues that were of the Egyptian deities and other instruments that they used for rituals during that time. They believed it to be about 500 BC, which was considered a late period for ancient Egypt. So why are they doing these excavations, you might ask? Because I sure the hell asked this question. But for one, they believe that that they think it'll spark tourism. So I guess Egyptian tourism has kind of suffered a lot. Back in 2011, I think they had some political unrest there. And then, of course, we've had the pandemic and then the war with Russia and Ukraine. What I didn't know is that this article had stated that persons from Russia and Ukraine were actually a large source of the tourists to their country. So that's hit them hard as well. But the article went on to recap a couple of other things that significant finds in the last few years, or that was recent. In February 2021, there was 60, and I remember these because everybody was kind of laughing like, shit, we just went through a year of the pandemic and now they're finding all this stuff in ancient Egypt. But 16 human burial chambers were found in the city of Alexandria. This I remember. 2 of the mummies were found to have golden tongues that believed to give them the power to speak in the afterlife. In that same month in 2021, in February, they found a massive 5,000-year-old brewery. And it was found in the southern city of Sohag, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. So they said that researchers believe the beer was used in burial rituals for Egypt's earlier kings.
I'm going to concur that because I watched an episode of Expedition Unknown the other night with Josh Gates, and there was
love Josh Gates.
There was a gentleman named Mustafa on there as well. I'm wondering if it's the same gentleman that you're describing.
Oh, was it Mustafa Yaziri?
I believe it was, because they were unearthing some ancient burials. So they had a site there and they were finding coffins, and they were showing the offerings of beer, like the kegs.
That's probably what this was. Yeah.
Sounds exactly with what you're describing to me to what I watched the other night.
That's so awesome. I'll have to catch that.
I saw it was a new episode, so I wanted to kind of catch it, and I was kind of watching it while I was doing some other stuff. But when they said beer, I quick turned around to see what they were talking about, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, actually, the way it was, where they showed outside of where the burial site would be, which would be like the tomb or whatever. There were tons of obviously not any beer in there anymore. I don't know if they were ceramic or what they were, but you could just see them. They were all into the ground, piled on top of each other. Just, it was amazing. And they said that's what that was. It was like an offering.
Dang.
So
that's what a coincidence that you saw that. Just recently. On the other thing they quoted, but I have to tell you, I'm gonna watch that episode. Actually, after we're done recording, I think I might go watch that episode.
Absolutely.
In April of 2021, they also found a 3,000-year-old lost golden city discovered in Luxor. So the sarcophagi are going to be transferred over to the new Grand Egyptian Museum that's due to open in November of this year, and they'll be on display. That's located near the Giza pyramids in Cairo, and I hope that I pronounced the pyramids correctly. So that's my story about Egypt.
Sweet.
And like I said, everybody's worried about all this stuff. And have you not watched any mummy movie ever?
Nothing ever good comes out of it.
No.
Everybody ends up cursed and dead.
We need Brendan Fraser or Indiana Jones.
There'll be another one.
Let's hope so.
There is. There's one coming out.
Is there really? See, I haven't paid attention. See, look, that's the problem. Kez and I don't have cable. Like at all. We watch.
I don't have cable.
We don't watch the news. We don't have like regular news stations. We don't have anything. So like literally we do everything off of our Discover Plus membership, or like subscription thing. Netflix, HBO Max. The cool thing is though, we share the subscriptions. Like each one of us pay, like for HBO Max, my kids and I kind of all pay.
Yeah, we do the Hulu, and then we get Netflix, and
Kez gets Hulu free with the Spotify membership.
Oh yeah, so it's pretty good. We don't do cable. Cable's a ripoff.
I know all of it is, but
my opinion. If there's any cable companies listening that want to sponsor us, nothing personal.
Then we'll talk really nicely about you.
Yeah, I can be bought to say that it is great.
I am not too proud to admit I can be bought.
At this point, I know people that have cable, and I've heard them explain to me what their bill is a month, and there's no way I would pay what people pay for. There's just no way.
It's ridiculous.
I don't watch enough TV.
There's not enough on TV to entertain.
There's not.
Besides that, like honestly, we buy internet, and most of the channels that we watch on cable, we already have we have the Discover Plus, which because I mostly watch Discovery Channel and shows off of there, so that's what we mostly watch. And then we get our movies obviously from Netflix or HBO Max, and I don't really need anything else. And I do have Gaia, which I love my Gaia subscription. I got that for Christmas, and I think I'm gonna plug for my children, like, hey guys, we can do that again this year because I really love it. So anyway, on to your next story. Sorry about that.
Nope, you're good.
Get off on these.
All right, my next story comes to us from Oklahoma. Man, you're gonna like this one.
Okay.
This kind of feeds into something you said earlier. Man is accused of killing a friend. Claims it was to stop him from summoning Sasquatch.
Oh, how do you summon? Oh wait, there are people out there that are Sasquatch hunters, though. Have you seen that show? And they stuff. So maybe that's what they need. Yep. Okay.
He reportedly feared that Bigfoot was coming to eat him. Yeah.
Wait, where is this at?
Oklahoma.
Okay.
I have a picture of the gentleman. Well, it's a video, but whatever. He looks like you think he would. An Oklahoma noodler.
What's a noodler?
Let me explain noodler. It's a way of fishing using your hands, catching catfish.
Okay.
So it's not like they don't have like pool noodles or anything like that, or
like spaghetti noodles,
or or some strange handshake of some sort. Anyway, he was arrested after reportedly confessing to killing his fishing partner, claiming he did so to stop Bigfoot. I'm gonna say it again. Bigfoot from coming to eat him. Mr. Sanders, 53 years old, had been noodling, fishing using your hands.
That just sounds wrong.
Yeah. Here, and they actually say that he had been noodling, a way of catching catfish via your hands. So basically, he's just sticking his hands in the water and going here, fishy, and hoping to catch a catfish. Anyway, with his friend Jimmy, also 53, along the South Canadian River in Pontotoc County, Pontotoc.
Okay.
On Saturday, he claimed that while they were on the river, he discovered that Jimmy intended to feed him to Bigfoot. Larry indicated that Jimmy attempted to get away from him so that the Sasquatch could eat Larry.
So is he saying that he saw Bigfoot? Like his friend?
No, he didn't say that he saw him. He's just saying that he keeps claiming that his friend Jimmy intended to feed him. And Larry indicated that Jimmy attempted to get away from him. So basically, maybe an altercation. But He's saying that this Jimmy person tried to get away from Larry because he didn't want to be eaten. He just wanted the Sasquatch to eat Larry.
Oh my God.
He believes that his friend basically tricked him into being out there, and that the two fought for an hour over this.
Oh my God. And this just recently happened?
Yes.
Holy crap.
July 14th, it says.
Wow, like just happened.
Yep. It says he choked him to death near the river and went home to his daughter to confess to his daughter, who ironically is dating Jimmy's son.
What?
Yeah. So
convoluted.
He appeared to be under the influence of something.
You think?
His statement was that Mr. Jimmy had summoned Bigfoot to come and kill him, and that's why he had to kill him. He said, I had no choice. I had to kill him.
Oh, my God.
He is now facing first-degree murder charges.
Well, as he should. But, oh, my God, I hope he gets help, too.
Yes. I mean, all that we know from Sasquatch and Bigfoot is they usually avoid people. I'm not sure that you could summon one to come and eat somebody. I'm not sure that that's how that works.
Yeah, probably not.
Just a guess. Just a guess
like
on my part.
Right. Because how do you know what he actually wants? Like it's not like you're summoning Bigfoot and then in the same sequence of communication saying, I have your dinner for you. Like it doesn't work like that. On the shows where the Sasquatch hunting type shows, these people are making noises that they believe would be attracting to the Bigfoot. But do we have time for one more quick one?
Let's go. You got what? You got a good one?
Well, I didn't even get to read. I saw the headline and I'm like, oh my God. Okay.
We'll do some elevator music while we're waiting.
I know, right? I found it. Okay. This is on NPR. It's on, there's lots of news. So the story just broke today.
Okay.
This prodigal person pushed a peanut with his proboscis to the pinnacle of Pikes Peak.
I saw that. Yep, I saw that.
The guy pushed a peanut with his nose up Pikes Peak. So this is in Colorado Springs, by the way. So when Kez and I were out west, we did go through Colorado Springs. We went to Garden of the Gods, I think is what it's called out there. It's beautiful, but Pikes Peak is out near that way. So we drove past that area. So the guy said it took twice as long as he anticipated, but the man pushing peanuts up Colorado's Pikes Peak with his nose has reached the 14,115 foot summit. Supporters are going nuts. Dun-dun-dun. Like he was raising money for people experiencing homelessness, which was pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool.
He's a 53-year-old Army vet and stay-at-home dad, and he wanted to celebrate the 150th birthday of the town at the base of Pikes Peak to raise money for people experiencing homelessness. 3 other people have done this before him. So if you can believe that. So it's not like this was the first time it was done. So I really just wanted to put in that snippet. I'll put a link to the article for anybody interested in taking a look at that, but I'm sure it's probably all over your Facebook feed, but just in case you hadn't heard about it. Well, good episode today. Hope you guys enjoyed all this news that we brought your way. We'll continue to do it every week. Don't forget to join us every other Monday for our big episodes. We have some big things in the work coming up, some really exciting episodes. Take a listen to our older episodes and get caught up. And we'd love to hear anything that you have to say. If you have stories, news, anything you want to share, you can email us at connectedrealm@gmail.com. That's all one word, connectedrealm@gmail.com. Or come on over to our Facebook page, send us a message there. But rate, subscribe, share, all those things. So until then, see ya.
Ciao. Peace out.
Ciao.